In any case, they are using our sovereignty. They are actually executing a coup against Nigerian society. The society says, let us sit down and talk. And we have been saying this in 1999. And they have been going on this process, and they have not. Okay, we now have almost 320 clauses in the current constitution. It's just for the lawyer.
Hello and what's up, guys? In this video, something heavy is brewing in Nigeria's political space. Eminent Nigerians are warning that the 1999 constitution was never meant for this country to succeed. According to them, Nigeria's foundation is faulty, and no matter how much you patch it, the cracks will keep showing. They are not calling for another round of meaningless amendments. They are saying it is time to start over, to write a people's constitution that truly reflects the will of Nigerians, not the interests of a few. But here is where it gets alarming. While the National Assembly is spending billions on another so-called review, critics say it is just a cover-up, a performance to justify huge budgets and maintain the same power structure that keeps ordinary Nigerians silent. They claim this process is a quiet coup against the people, where politicians are using the nation's sovereignty without ever asking for the people's consent. And it doesn't stop there. These voices warn that the plan to amend over 80 sections and even create new states within a few months is nothing but chaos waiting to happen. One of them asks, how do you fix a broken house when the very ground it stands on is sinking? They argue that Nigeria's system is too centralized, too dependent, and too disconnected from the people it claims to serve. Power, they say, has been trapped at the top, while the states and communities that make up this country are left powerless. They insist true progress can only come when power is returned to the regions, where people can manage their resources, build their economies, and make decisions that fit their realities. But the most chilling part was the warning that came after. They said the political class has become addicted to control, unwilling to change unless something forces them, and that if the system continues like this, it will collapse on its own and no one will be able to stop it. For many Nigerians, the message hits deep because it is not about the constitution, it is about survival, fairness, and the future of the nation. They believe that a new beginning is still possible if the people rise to demand it. A real constitution, a negotiated system, a government built on unity in diversity, not diversity in disunity. But the question is, will those in power listen before it is too late? Or will Nigeria's next great change come the hard way? Guys, I will let you watch this video for yourself so you can see exactly what I'm talking about. Also, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to this channel if you haven't already done so. Take a look, guys, and remember to share your thoughts after watching.
So, after more than 65 years of independence, ask many Nigerians and they'll say that hope has turned into hopelessness and laughter has fallen silent. They say that there needs to be a significant turning point in the huge political turbulence that's engulfed Nigeria for decades. And the way to achieve this is through a new, all-inclusive People's Constitution. Nigeria's National Assembly is currently conducting a review of the 1999 Constitution, aiming to amend key areas. The goal is to address issues and gaps in the current Constitution and ensure its legitimacy through public participation. But while this process is going on, the call is out by many eminent Nigerians, including the legal luminary and former president of the Nigerian Bar Association, Wole Olanipekun, for a much more root and branch constitutional overhaul. He, the Patriots Group, and many others have been leading a citizen constitutional intervention driven by what they say is a growing sense of public urgency to completely overhaul the 1999 Constitution to make it more inclusive. So, can the National Assembly be persuaded that what they're doing is simply tinkering around the edges and that Nigeria is in dire need of a new constitutional framework that reflects the aspirations and realities of its people? Well, for more on this, I'm joined now in the studio by a member of the Joint Secretariat of the National Political Summit, Dr. Akin Faponda, who is also an eminent member of the Patriots Group and is the Director of Research at the Afenifere Group. Thank you very much indeed for coming in.
Thank you very much. It's
good to see you again.
Thank you very much.
So basically, Mr. Olanipekun is sending out an urgent call to the National Assembly to stop this review and amendment process of the 1999 Constitution, drop that Constitution altogether, and focus instead on coming up with a fresh People's Constitution that would be subjected to a referendum that would give it the imprimatur of the people. Do you agree with him that this current constitution review exercise is something of a waste of time and money?
Absolutely. Olanipekunwole and Olisa Agbakoba, they are the two brightest minds we have in this country. And they've spoken truth to power. But for no reason at all, the political class, they are just deaf and dumb to reason. Okay, what they are doing now, in American football style, the clock has run out. Because what they came up with last month is for them to amend the constitution to consider 74 bills through the 36 state assemblies. Do we have minds in those assemblies to process 74 bills in the next 3, 4, 5, 6 months? Do they have the mind? They want to create 46 new states. I was at the public hearing that was held, and they want to change 83 sections of the constitution.
Yeah, but is it that they want to create new states, or that is what the public want and they're considering whether it is feasible to do?
The fact that if your child says he wants what is not feasible, if you have leadership, will you lead them on to say, okay, want to shut him straight?
Yeah, but you could make the same argument about a new constitution. I mean,
no,
you have a right to go to them and say that. But I mean, they're not going to shut you up. They're going to listen to you. They have an obligation to listen to you.
All those things is because they have expended 100 billion naira for this process.
Right.
And they want to justify that they have spent that money, and nothing will come out of it. In any case, they are using our sovereignty. They are actually executing a coup against Nigerian society. The society says, let us sit down and talk. And we have been saying this in 1999. And they have been going on this process, and they have not. Okay, we now have almost 320 clauses in the current constitution. It's job for the lawyers, interpretation. Everything is wrong with it. The constitution we have now is not fit for purpose. Absolutely.
But I mean, if you're saying that, I mean, they're talking about fixing some clauses, arguably in dozens of parts of the Constitution. They're also talking about things like state police, distribution of states across the regions to make it a bit fairer, lots of other bits and bobs. I mean, if that bit that they're doing to an existing constitution, tinkering with bits of it, to you sounds like a massive rejig, what about changing the constitution completely, which is what you're asking?
Yeah, they want to amend 83 sections of the constitution, and there have been 3, 4, 5 votations before. If you have some government that you are patching in 3 places, if you have common sense, won't you say, come, let's just think out of the box. What are the real issues in this country? We have 4 major areas that we need to fundamentally look at. The bottom line is that the federal government is bloated, is not fit for purpose. A true federalism, there will be 2-tier distinct structures, each one with its own constitutional framework. Absolutely. And then the functions to each tier, the federal government will take not more than 12, 14 of the 68 items. Maybe foreign affairs, currency, passport. That's it. But what does federal government have to do with roads? Umar is going around the whole country wasting money to be inspecting road physically across almost 1 million square kilometers of Nigeria. He himself alone. We're supposed to have 6, 7 ministers of works in the regions to take care of their own area, where they even know. I mean, okay, when I was in government, I traveled around the country because I was director of planning in the federal system. How many people know where Dambo is? How many people have been to let's say Kotepene? How many people? You're all in Lagos just talking theory, or you're in Abuja. So until we decentralize and then give function to the regions without any ambiguity, very, very importantly, why not propose? Supposing we go to parliamentary system, leave president, a governor in the state will be first elected in the parliament in the state. He will be first among equals. Will it be emperor the way we have governors now? It will not be, because he will first be elected as a constituency in his own state. It is the parliament members that will elect him as the governor or premier of that state. How will he be able to now pocket all his colleagues.
Yeah, but listening to you, I mean, you're making a lot of sense, and what you're saying is very reasonable. But I'm thinking in terms of the time. I mean, this new constitution, when do you actually see it taking effect? Because, I mean, there are presidential elections coming in less than 2 years. Do you see that constitution being ready by then?
If the patrons eminently considered and discussed and proposed a bill that has to be submitted, is for a process to make the change. The constitution alternative, I have a copy of it.
Right.
Everybody who is women has copies of what's supposed to be parliamentary system, a separate regional constitution from federal, isn't it? And then decentralized functions of governance, and then revenue allocation decentralized. Those are the elements we need. And then elections now will be parliamentary. If you are elected to represent your state in Abuja, your state will pay your salary. You won't have salary in Abuja. So you are subject to recall by your state if you are not doing what is correct. But when you are elected now, the way it is, you come to Abuja, you don't go home again for 4 years unless you are going for election. So the document that will speak to this is available. Patrons have drafted it, and there's a bill on top, which the president, if he's really interested in solving the problem. When the patrons met him last year, he said he's interested first in economics. Okay, now he said economy is now good, that he will now consider politics later. Okay, this time to consider politics. If he takes patrons' bill this month and send it to National Assembly, and they pass it, there are drafts that will be given to the public to debate, and within 3 months there could be clean copy. The real issue now is to have referenda.
Right. But I've heard you say that what you want is not just an all-embracing national constitution, but a whole set of sub-regional constitutions for the 6 geopolitical zones that will reflect the way they want their zones to operate.
Absolutely.
I mean, would you like to expand on that?
In the bill that's supposed to be passed, you authorize the regions to have their own conclave to decide. Okay, we now have 6 regions, 6 geopolitical zones. Even the National Assembly recognize these zones, and they already have commissions, so it's recognized. It's for those commissions now to be transformed into the nuclear to starting point of what to be the regions. I agree there may not be more than 6. So that some area might say, no, I want to belong outside. We might actually have 10 geopolitical zones eventually, once there is proper discussion. But then we have the draft of Eastern Regional Constitution, we have Western Regional Constitution. There is document to build upon.
Right.
And then the bottom line is that we now agree that each region will differentiate and will be good neighbors, and they will cooperate and they will compete, and they control their resources. They will maintain federal government as a club, the way we maintain United Nations. That's the model that will not, you don't need to be fighting for 100 million to buy form to be president of in Abuja. You don't need that. You have to have some access to some unclean money to want to pay 100,000, 100 million naira. That's just form. Not the real election. You have to go 36 states, hiring private jets and fueling it, and just shouting one nation, and that's all. No manifesto, nothing.
It sounds like, well, certainly the sense that I'm getting is that you think Nigeria's leaders, and that includes members of the National Assembly, have really no respect for their people, and that they believe that their personal interests are the interests of the people, because that's an assessment I've heard you voice in some of your public comments.
Absolutely, because some of them are my friends. They are from my area. If you sold your house and you bought from 50 million to run for Senate, and then you go to Abuja, you have to rent house 10 million per annum, pay 5 years. You are just investment, you are recouping what you have brought in. So they don't listen. I've sent documents to me, they don't reply me at all. They don't. Because I'm talking now, they're trying to survive. They're in survival mode, but they're in darkness until we put on the light. In fact, they are suffering. I've been with some of them where people from their village come here and say, give us Trump, give us money, we can't go back. They have to raise money to pay their constituents to go back. Otherwise, they have to pay hotel bills for them. They are in big trouble, but somehow, somebody has to call them to say, look, you are just killing yourself. If I'm a senator now to come back next time.
It's like being a drug addict, isn't it? Unless you go through rehab
absolutely
to get you off it, you're just going to keep doing it, even though you hate yourself.
Yeah, so to contest next time now, you are raising 50, 100 million to survive the next election. Otherwise, you will not come back again.
But I'm sure you know, Dr. Faponda, that some people have argued that it is not the Constitution, but the people that matter, those whose job it is to implement that Constitution.
I
mean, if it doesn't matter, why have a Constitution at all? I guess that's a question.
No. Structure and form and format matters. If you land in Heathrow Airport today, you will behave. You, Senator, you carry your bag, you enter the train. Do you have people carrying your bags everywhere in Heathrow when you land? The structure, the format there is different. Here is for big money, it's for godfathers. It's for you to have 50 SUVs following you. So the system here allows us, as I said earlier on, supposing the governor is elected first into the House of Assembly, and then from there his colleagues now do electoral college vote to say you are first among equals to run the government on behalf of our party. Will it transform easily to an emperor the way we have now? But you don't know how the governor got his election. He got in there on his own way. He bought his way to Renegotiate or BSA through police, and he's not going to listen to you at all. If you don't do anything, he will starve you of funds. He will dissolve the local government council, and then nothing will happen. Because it's just on his own. It's actually on his own. Let me not talk about the president that just awarded contract, 15 trillion. And no apology for it. It's being claimed as, but the process is very important. Even if the road is built, that process is faulty, is flawed forever.
Right. So it is about the politics of self-interest that's being practiced in this country, where I think I've heard you say this again before, where everything is mine versus yours. And if President Tinubu does something today, someone from a different ethnic group will say it's bad, not because it's really bad, because it doesn't benefit his people. In such circumstances, how would you use a new constitution to change all that?
If we decide now, I believe honestly something will have to happen. They can't on their own. Like it's what you said, a drug addict cannot just walk to rehabilitation on his own. Very rare. Something has to happen. I pray it's not going to be the extreme. But in the last few days now, the mere talking about who, it has entered into a psyche now. We used to, no one want to even say it before, up to this last week. Now that we have said it, is it not? So we have to welcome more of such aberrations in the next couple of months. If the political class want to be reasonable, somebody have to call them. Our former head of states are too quiet. General Gowon, General Babangida. So there has to be some leadership in the society that will call people in a privacy. Look, we can't continue like this. Former Chief Justice, and I'm disappointed in the Council of State. They were in a meeting, they could not pick out some cases. They just were sleeping in the Council of State or what? President can make proposal for clemency, but some of these justices were on seat while the cases were going through the appeal process. Were they not there in that Council of State for say, this Sandal woman, we are just convicted her?
So they were simply rubber stamping everything, basically.
So it means we have nobody to have moral right to correct us. And if you don't have that, I pray we don't have some extra legal, extra judicial means to say no,
right,
what you are doing is wrong.
Well, I mean, as I mentioned before, the National Assembly has said that if the people make it known loudly at the public hearings that they want a completely new constitution, that the National Assembly will have no choice but to hearken to their demand. Are you mobilizing the people to make that call loudly, or do you think it's up to President Tinubu to lead that?
No. In any society, there are some elites that dictate direction. You don't expect common market women, gate man to change what's happening in Harris News. It's not possible.
No, but what I'm saying is that you've been attending those public hearings. I mean, how loud is the call for a new constitution?
If my voice, we are all colleagues. I'm about 70 years. We all lived through this country. I lived through the 50s and the 60s. We all know where the shoe is pinching. If they cannot take us, if I ought to summon Baba Anyaku, for him to stand at 92 years, where do you want to speak? What does he want? If he may drive one position, no. Most of us speaking, we just want goodness for this country before we depart. We don't want this confusion where people are carrying guns everywhere, and we're just, look, the cure that will happen in January when this tax reform comes to effect, when I'm reading all the provisions, everything, many people will just go to jail. Or you lose all the money you have. Because that's, all the steps before you start paying taxes. Maybe it would make people to revolt against the government when you start, seriously.
Well, actually, you mentioned the word revolt, and I say that I pick that up advisedly. But are you puzzled that Nigerians are not more angry than they are about all that is going on?
They are angry. They are angry only that the political class, they are used to shitting you down. How many people died in Kurodu during Abacha time? See the way people are shot during NSAS. Do you know their name? Do anybody care? The report they were set up. If I come out today now, I'm shot. So what happened? There is no consequence to you to protest in a civilized manner. I was talking to a former VC. In the last 3 days, come out to Abuja, I will join you. He said, but I will be shot.
And he certainly didn't want to be shot.
For no reason. He will be shot. If every small thing, they just roll out guns, they roll out tiger, they roll out
live
everything.
Ammunition.
Everything. So they just, look, the colonial system was even better than what we have now. If they were white people, but they are among us now. They are colleagues.
Well, that's a controversial statement, so I wouldn't go that far. But to sum it up in a nutshell, your contention, in a nutshell, is that the 1999 Constitution was not designed for Nigeria to succeed. And that the Constitution of a country is always negotiated, where you come together and agree how you should live together, whether under a parliamentary or a presidential system of government, with unity in diversity at the core of it, not diversity in disunity.
Absolutely.
Is that a reasonably accurate summary?
Absolutely, absolutely. We have to get to that point. I pray we'll get there in sane environment. But if the political class remain pretentious, if President Tinubu is not listening and is not acting, it will be very bad that everything will just collapse on his head. But he's a reasonable person. But he has played all his cards. He has enjoyed the presidency for all these years. 4 years is enough for anybody to do good. You don't need 8 years. He has body long house to retire to. He has his own comfort. What is he enjoying in the villa that he cannot pay for himself? It will be good for him to authorize this bill that patrons have produced. And in 3 months, there will be debate. By May, there will be a referendum. By October 1, the constitution will be ushered in, proclaimed. The next election will be parliamentary. Go to your region and just make bills, do door-to-door knocking. Win in your constituency. Once you win at that level, subsequently, it's electoral college. You submit your CV. If you are 30 members, and that's what I said, submit your CV. We all look at it. You are an engineer, okay. Commissioner for works. You are educationist, this. No need to do dog-eat-dog, all these things. The temperature will just come down. And 2027 will be a rebirth of a new country. It doesn't mean everything will be perfect. I agree. Because in the 6 geographical zones, that people say, I want to be alone. And it's not strange. In India, there are 28 states. There are 8 federal territories. Those say they don't want to belong to a particular state. They are federal territories. So there are many clauses that we can do to accommodate everybody, but by consensus. That's what the patrons.
That's the key thing.
That's what patrons are advocating, and we would really want national to remove the ego. Ineka is more senior, more experienced than any of them, including the Senate president. Why not give him the honor? Call him to the national and say, what is there? What is?
You mean Chief Emeka and your?
Yeah, right. They are all fighting Natasha. That's what they are doing. What else? What else are they doing more than that? Let's take serious issue and call this man and call his team. Let's debrief and let's do what is necessary.
So are you optimistic?
I'm not, but I'm pessimistically optimistic, because they're just something has to push them, not on their own. Something has to push them.
So are you going to intensify your lobbying efforts then?
Appearing on this TV, you are doing the greatest service for the country, a civilized service, a more decorous service. We don't want where we'll be shouting and beating each other. They will hear what we are saying. They listen to your channel. But the president is the anchor person that will take initiative. The patrons met him and he said he's doing economics. He has done economics for 1 year. Now it's for political. It's to take the bull by the horn.
So the time potentially is now.
Oh,
it's
and
got to
they
be
can
now.
finish in 6-7 months.
Right.
Because the drafts documents are ready. It's not to do any conclave, to do 3 years assembly. No. The document is available for public to debate all the nuance For instance, we don't want INEC anymore. No federal election. Once you're elected in your region, your state, you come to electoral college in Abuja. We don't need INEC. The census is faulty. Census will be concurrent, not exclusive. There are many things that will bring the temperature down. Revenue, again, you work and eat, not share and go and eat.